Sabin. All right. To use the words of Gaurav, here we are live, I guess.
I think then gets started. So, welcome guys to the Meshery meet. So, this is June 19th, and on this meet we discuss about the active contributions on the Meshery project, and we discuss about what is happening in the project and what are the new features, and we also discuss with the contributors about their open PR. So, first we usually welcome the newcomers. So, if anybody is new to the call, please raise your hand, and you can also introduce yourself. So everybody knows who you are and what you are going on, and you get issues assigned also sometimes on the call. So please don't be shy and let's open the mic.
Yeah.
I think we have some newcomers.
Yeah, you.
IJ, are you new to the call?
No, she's not. But yeah. But since we mentioned EJ or EJ, you also go by I Iojima. Is that it? I slaughtered it. But Miss Ite, are you there? Itai, Miss Itai. I Anyway, she's landed a few Golang PRs. And so I think she probably needs another issue. I'm just guessing. She might speak up and tell us all wrong, tell me wrong. Anyway, also just to help Abid a little bit, Rishikesh has just joined. We were just doing introductions of new faces, and so I'm not sure if Rishikesh, Mr. Marihishia, have you gotten a chance to say hi to everybody? Get to introduce yourself? It's really tough for you to just join a call and then have to like randomly introduce yourself to people you don't know. But do you just want to say hi for a second?
Hi.
All right, that was it. That's great. Hey, good to have you on the call. Have you been on one of these calls before?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good to have you back. Wonderful. Abid, please tell me to shut up and continue.
Shem, I think you are also new to the call. Would you like to introduce?
Excuse me, am I being talked about?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was fixing my headphones. No, this is my first time joining the call. I just got involved with Meshery. I made my first PR, and this is my first time. So yeah.
Like, what's your area of comfort, back end or front end?
Like I'm currently working with the backend. I wanted to learn Go. I started learning Go like a while ago, around a month ago. And I have like a decent amount of knowledge about backend. And I've been learning about Kubernetes and all DevOps stuff. And I've been interested in service meshes. And I looked into Meshery's whole tech stack and the way it's built, etc., etc. And I thought it was all very interesting. And I wanted to start with uh, uh, contributing to the backend. I joined one of the newcomers meetings before. This is my first time with the developers meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That's really cool. You might land your first issue today on the call. So I think that's mostly for newcomers. If somebody new joins, you can please don't be shy to raise your hand in the chat and introduce yourself. So thanks for that. I think we can officially begin on the meeting agendas. Deepak, would you like to share about your item? Deepak, are you with us? No, Deepak is not. So we'll come back to him later. Leave.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did send regrets privately earlier. So yeah, he's not. He won't be here.
Lee, would you like to share about?
Oh yeah. Oh, everybody would love to hear from me again. Yeah. Hey, hey, I'm one of the maintainers, and I ended up spending Sunday, almost all of Sunday, and I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it, because it really was like almost all day on one Okay, fine. It was like 4 pages or 5 pages or so. And it wasn't even a fresh write. Like I rewrote this page and it still needs some review. It's not like it's that complex, but it is worth taking a moment to highlight to everyone on the call that this particular area of Meshery is, well, I mean, first of all, technologically, it's a little bit intriguing. We might be able to do um, relationships inside of Meshery a little bit better than we do today. Maybe. It would be really nice if we could use some Gen AI to help, but it doesn't. This is like one of the areas in Meshery where it really, at the moment, it's like humans have to be involved. Like we're still relevant, surprisingly, in the year 2024. And that in order to articulate and codify how it is that one element under Meshery's management or one component that Meshery manages, how that component relates to another component, like a Kubernetes pod to a Kubernetes service, something like that. How those two have a relationship, what kind of relationship it is, and when they should establish that relationship. And when they do establish that relationship, how does that affect each of them? And maybe how does that affect other components under management? This particular page is the contributor facing page. Well, these are important things for all of us to be aware of and potentially work on. There are many, many of these relationships to define. The coding of one of these relationships is just a JSON document, and it's relatively straightforward. It's not very complex. There's a lot to explain about it. We want to go out to each of the other CNCF projects that Meshery supports, which is, basically essentially all of them, and have them help qualify the relationships that are defined so far. So this is an example of one from Istio. Istio has a number of custom resources, a WebAssembly filter as a custom resource for their Envoy sidecars, just a random example. But these two custom resources are intended to and do establish a relationship. If you have a WebAssembly filter, a small little program written in whatever one of the 40 languages that Wasm supports, and you compile it, you have a build target of WebAssembly, and you end up with, well, what will be a small program in this case? That small program you can load dynamically on the fly and reload dynamically on the fly into an Istio sidecar. Istio sidecar is data plane as Envoy, and then you can do special things with network traffic. There's so much power in the network. You want to do it super darn fast, though, because you don't want to interrupt what's service requests that people are making. Or maybe you do, maybe you want to block them. We've spent a ton of time on Wasm filters and this technology in particular, but it's just one example of like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different relationships that Meshery needs to codify and understand. And so, yeah, so this is a recent rewrite. There are a couple of areas within here. I encourage everybody to give it a read. As you do, there's an adjoining document that explains more about what relationships are. There are a few maintainers that have yet to read this, and it's required reading for them. Some of what's in there is undoubtedly incorrect. So that's that one. Let me pause for a moment and just ask if anybody comments, questions. We do want to send that page to maintainers of other projects, and it's way too long of a page, or we want to be able to ask them if the way that we have identified relationships for their project, maybe Jaeger or maybe Istio, like we were saying, is correct. Like in their mind, is that right? That page is too long. We need a shorter description of relationships. But So that's why I spent so much time on it, because it's time for us to reach out to many, many other projects and get them involved. Some of them have seen the work that you all have done, and they're asking us, they're knocking on our door a fair bit to get a piece. It's great. There's a couple of other areas that people might on the call might want to volunteer to be involved with. One of those is a misspelled Meshery, but one of those is a component legend. If you've been inside of Meshery UI, like on the dashboard, for example, you will have seen how Meshery interrogates or syncs with Kubernetes clusters. And as it does, it will retrieve information about all of the Kubernetes resources that are running in that cluster or across the various clusters. As it pulls back that information and catalogs all of those resources, it will visually convey to you how many pods, how many how many of each of the different types of resources are running. When we visualize those resources, those components, as a project, we've said there are 12 or more shapes or more that we might use to represent a particular type of resource. There's a collection of workload resources. There's a collection of network resources. And it'd be nice maybe if each of those collections of network related resources, services, endpoints, ingresses, ingress class, network policy, were using maybe a similarly shaped three-pointed shape like that triangle, which is rounded. And of course, a rounded blue triangle with a little network, three topological network bus sort of means something related to network, maybe. Rounded rectangle, rounded triangle that's blue only kind of means something about Kubernetes because it's the Kubernetes blue. Otherwise, you have no idea that it's a service. People probably need a legend. Users probably need an explanation of what these shapes mean, what importance they signify. Or maybe give feedback and say that triangles are the dumbest choice for service. I don't know. But there's a call for help there. Is like writing a small document, that docs page that explains what colors are used for what shapes are used for what. There's another
I think
one.
this one also goes on the same path.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another one. Like if you take a Meshery design and you're trying to understand how you read the design, what do these various lines and things mean? Last call for volunteer, I think I was doing that on the behalf of someone else. Was it Schlock? Yes. Schlock, do you want to tell people about what this is and if you're looking for volunteers on it?
Yeah, sure. So, the issue, Abid, may I screen share? One sec.
Yeah, please.
So, whenever you run Meshery server, there are logs generated regarding what type of components and what type of entities are being registered. So, we want these logs to be visible to the user in the UI. So for doing this, we need enhance a page more like a React. Someone who is good in or proficient in React can help us, and we need a page in UI registry here that shows those logs. So these logs are currently generated, and as you can see here in the event section, these are the logs that are being generated. So we want that these logs are exposed over here at the registry, and the uh, contributors or the person who is using Meshery can really benefit it, because these logs are generally telling which type of components are there that are registered over here.
So of the type of experience or skills that someone might need to help here, if they're thinking about helping, what would that be, Schlock?
So you'll need a knowledge of React, and it's good if you know Golang. I'm there to help in regarding Golang, and yeah, the basic requirement is a good information amount of information regarding React. And this page currently, which you see, it's not appropriate to its fullest, because the details showed here are not appropriate. These are wrong. So these needs refactoring as well. So yeah.
Okay. Just to repeat that back, React. All you need to know is React to be able to help here. Okay. Nice.
Now,
Anybody
the
on?
Meshery I use Next.js and React, but for this issue, you would only need the knowledge of React and you should be good. Thank you, Shlok. I think the next item is from Avani. Can you please share your updates on the learning path?
Okay. Hi. So concerning sorry, hold on, I'm trying to share my screen. So concerning yes, sorry, I have to. It's not allowing me to share my screen because I have to grant privileges from my system, and it's telling me to restart Zoom. But concerning
Yeah. Should we, maybe we should circle back.
right? Okay.
That would give you a little bit
I
of
will
time.
come back to you.
All right.
Dan is also not available, so can move on to Rudraksh. Rudraksh, can share your updates.
He had a power outage.
So Rudraksh is also not there. So then it comes to me. I have few small updates regarding the catalog. We have a bunch of catalog place where we showcase our catalog. One is the Meshery.io, and here we show our catalog, which are the published designs, which can be used as a template to start your designing your infrastructure rather than just starting from scratch. So we already had all of this here. So one thing that was missing was there was no action to open a particular catalog item directly in Playground. So I just added that quick action here to open in Playground. So this directly opens that design in Playground, and the similar action was already present in the Cloud Catalog, which is another place where we showcase our catalog. But the only difference that was previously had is like we will click on that in Playground, will be thrown out a place where on the black canvas without actually opening that design. So in this PR, I also made a change in the mesh map extension. So which whenever we are shown this, we also load the catalog directly. So if I change the URL, I might have lost this connection to my local server. But the thing is, like whenever you would jump on this page, the catalog item would be directly cloned and would be loaded on the screen rather than showing up the blank screen. And the same changes have been done in both the Meshery.io catalog and the cloud catalog. And another thing was like we were missing the telemetry for the whenever we would clone or download an item from the Meshery.io, we wouldn't set the telemetry update metric updates to the cloud, so we wouldn't know like that item has been downloaded or how many times it has been downloaded. So now whenever we are downloading something from the Meshery.io catalog, we are also sending a request to the cloud catalog, so it would know like something has been downloaded and it can update the metrics for that particular item. Right now it's like another download, but when we would have like APIs to update the metrics directly, we could leverage them. Right now we're just making another download request to the cloud API endpoints. Yeah, that's mostly from my side. Any questions?
Did you say that you were successful in ensuring that metrics were tracked for catalog items?
Yeah, right now, whenever we would download an item from Meshery.io catalog, we'd also send a request to the cloud catalog so it would know something has been downloaded and it can update the metrics.
Oh,
But right now, we
excuse me.
don't show the metrics here. We don't show the metrics on Meshery.io. We just drag it for cloud.
Okay, that's great. And then you said that an auto clone is a new feature now, or will shortly be a new feature that.
Yeah. So whenever you would open, like click the action to open in Playground for an item in catalog, it will directly clone in the Playground and that particular item would be loaded rather than showing the blank screen.
Mr. Sophie, will you reflect for a moment on the actions that are available in the cloud catalog and compare or ask yourself whether or not a button called open in Playground and a separate button called clone continues to make sense in this new world of auto cloning?
Right now in the cloud catalog, we have those both actions. So I was thinking about it, but then I realized like there is like slight difference because for the clone, it just clones in the cloud and it doesn't redirect to anywhere. So if someone just wants to clone the design from cloud, he can do it. But if he wants to open, then he can use that. But I don't know, like if at some point it becomes redundant, like users actually want to just clone it without opening. So I think that's the point.
Is it possible, Uzair or someone else, is it possible to open a catalog item, a published catalog item without cloning?
Yeah, like
No.
in MeshMap right now we don't support, but I think it is possible because we can get the actual pattern data like which we render. We can get that and we can have a read-only view of the catalog item. That can be a feature, and I think it's possible from the UI side.
Yeah, there's also the idea that, thanks for reflecting on this, there's also the idea that for non-catalog designs or designs that you as an individual user might have, you might have it private or you might have it published, or I'm sorry, you might have it public, that those personal designs have yet to be published to the catalog, and yet you might just want to open that in Playground, or you might want to clone that, and that those designs that are under my designs, they have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be directly opened without cloning. Yeah, that's mostly from my side. Amani, if you have screen share ready, you can share.
Okay. So, um, okay, yeah, so concerning the learning path, I was able to convert the WordPress and MySQL tutorial to, I was able to add it to the learning path, but then I ran into an issue here where it shows 404. So actually was helping me fix it before the call. So yeah, that's all from me for now.
Okay. You're getting a good, can you go back over the first part of your update? Because the 404 is not like, okay, great, you're getting a 404, but what was the
Yeah.
update?
I've been able to convert the tutorial and put it here in the learning path and divide everything. But then I don't know, I ran into an issue and actually was helping me fix it.
That's great.
So
Great.
I pushed it, yeah, so I pushed it to another branch on GitHub so that he would be able to run it on his side.
That's great. That's a significant update. That's wonderful. Akshay, I wonder if the contributor experience can improve here, where the images that are used within a learning path are not separately stored in some other directory that's hard to navigate 6 directories down. And like, if we could use React, or if we could have those images imported rather than statically referenced, it would just help. Stuff it gets hard to reference in other folders. By the way, Akshay, I'm not sure if everyone here is familiar with the learning path or the academy that has been or is being created. There's some CNCF challenges that are to be written based on the proposal for an instance of Meshery to be the CNCF hub. That's still an ongoing initiative. We'll be meeting with the CNCF again here this week, like we have been. But Akshay, the academy, what is it, and can people get involved, or how would they?
Sure, let me just share the screen. Okay, so what we have and what we're looking for here is an academy in which where we can have different challenges and have different learning paths. Now, these learning paths will comprise of everything uh, that needs to be there for a beginner to become an advance in any technology they want. Now, this learning paths can have different chapters. Um, and we are thinking of making something for Meshery so that the new users or they get the idea of how to work with Meshery and as well as learn every other aspect of CNCF projects because Meshery can extend it. We can use Meshery for the extension of all those projects as well. That's why we are working on creating those learning paths. And similarly, we will going to have like challenges as well, in which it will be defined like what are the descriptions, the rules, and what needs to be done in that particular challenge. There will be a leaderboard as well. You will be able to register for those challenges and based on what the criteria is, and if you have passed, you will get points and rank up on the leaderboard. Yeah.
Thank you, Akshay. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. Does anybody want to get involved writing a learning path? It's an excellent time to do it because Awani is just starting to make a mess of it, a beautiful mess of it. And so she's a perfect individual to reach out to and chat more about it with. Yeah. Get your name out there. Get your name in front of people. If the CNCF challenge, if the CNCF challenges go forth, yeah, we're talking a lot of people running through your challenge. So it's a sweet opportunity.
Yeah, it's like analogous to how the code forces or all other platforms that host coding challenge is similar to that, but for DevOps and centric to the infrastructure. So it's a good opportunity to learn actually like where you are writing this learning because you can learn in depth about the technology that you're writing about. So Saurabh, you can share your updates.
Sure. Thank you, Robert. Well, I'm just sharing. Well, there has been progress in this onboard along with the apply command, which needs the current context for the Kubernetes. And up till now, I was taking the context from the local config file, but now I'm using this request, which will be making the get request to the current Kubernetes, which is running on which Meshery is deployed. And so, yeah, and I have maintained the consistency with the functions, and Matthew has helped me with that.
Wait.
Jose? Yes.
Yeah. Whoa, wait. Do we have a spec on that? We have wait a second. Whoa. Sorry I don't mean to. Great, good, nice idea. You need a spec on this. Why might you need a spec on something like this?
Okay. Maybe
Why might you need a spec?
uh,
Couldn't understand, sir. Can you,
Yeah, this PR says it removal of onboard subcommand.
yes,
Perfect. Because we don't need that. You know, that command needs to die. Need to line it up in
along
front
with
of
the
it.
offboard command.
Yeah.
But
Good.
yes,
And then
but
you're adding a whole new piece of functionality around getting
well,
Kubernetes context, which is like wonderful, except completely wrong. And so I'm asking you, why might it be wrong?
well, actually, the onboard command was need to be replaced by apply command. We won't be able to deploy the pattern, rather design. So I have to make sure that apply is we are able to deploy the pattern using the CTL. So and I was facing that apply was not able to deploy because it was not able to find the current context ID. So previously I was using the config. So now I'm using the making the get request to the API, and which will be fetching the context, and from that we will be getting the ID. I hope that answers the question.
It doesn't, no. I mean, it explains what you're doing. It doesn't answer my question of why might that be wrong. But I suspect I won't have that satisfaction today since it's my third time asking. So never mind. But yeah, if you would, I think all this particular PR, maybe the scope of it is just is only red lines, which means like only removing the onboard command and not necessarily if something needs to be added, maybe that should be in a different PR.
Okay, okay. I'll make sure that to open with the new PR.
Nice. And that's not me being, why am I saying that?
Well, maybe we can track the what's the PR is regarding that.
Yeah, it helps clarify and um does anybody else care to take a stab at my question about why where you might get in trouble with something like this?
Actually, like this is a behavioral change of like how would a user choose a particular connection or environment to apply a pattern to. And previously we just relied on like context name, and there was like this command was whole written in context of like Meshery being able to manage single cluster. So this command will capture the essence of like in multi-cluster environments, what will be the UX and UX behavior, and how the steps, what will the steps that user needs to take to select an environment. So yeah. So
Okay,
if you whatever approach that you have taken, if you can just write in a few lines, and or
no.
there should be a already written spec. So yeah,
It won't be a few lines. It'll be a lot of lines.
yes,
yeah.
maybe yes.
So
Sure,
take that
surely
spec
we can.
and update it and annotate your okay.
Or don't actually don't. I mean, like given that you're interning here, I'll say to you, don't do it because it's not something that's on the roadmap for v0.8 and is not easy. And it's not what we critically need at the moment either. But just for everyone else's understanding of what we're talking about, Saurabh, do you mind helping clarify the difference between Meshery CTL's functionality as Meshery CTL has contexts, and then the difference between that and the contexts to which you're referring here?
Yes, I totally get that. Meshery CTL, well, when Meshery CTL gets deployed, so the context we are talking about that a particular that context has been to which that Meshery has been deployed, and the context this PR says, as I get the point from the user, that this will be taking the all of the context. So I think that's
Wait. Okay, maybe I still won't have that satisfaction. Wait, did you say what was the description of the second to contexts?
uh, uh, well, this context is that when the mesh this as I am making the API call to do through the API to the Kubernetes context. This what do I say? Maybe I'm not able to use that word. Uh, to the Kubernetes context, which Meshery can make a connection to, and as long as we have different kinds of Kubernetes, and Meshery is able to communicate with them. So running this command can deploy the all of those to all of those Kubernetes contexts. It means to deploy the pattern to all of those contexts. So I should make the changes and bring the specifications, so user might be able to choose to which context they want to get the context, and to which context they want to deploy the design. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Saurabh and Zan. So, Tarun, you had an update on Tarun? Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't make that many changes for custody. So first two issues was the responsiveness bug correction in the cloud page. This sharing and copy link is now wrapping around the overview header. Before it was like this. Now it's wrapping around. There was a issue with system exporting link and slide components, which has been merged early. The component was there, but the export was not there, so I had to add it more. And the new open pair is the currently lint stage is formatting every files during each commit. So I made a change in those with the prettier right and DSL fix. Now we don't give what files to format, so it will automatically reformat the staged files. The docs can be found here, and similar issue can be found here. Currently, we are having this kind of ESLint dot, which I removed it. So there's only ESLint fix, so it should only apply the fix for the staged files. That's all. And I made review on the mesh map, remove warnings. Yeah, which needs which is override. We need to override two or three material UI CSS with the change. That's the command. So,
Like, are you working on this PR like with Stanch, or did you only review it? Because it would
no,
be helpful if you can collaborate with him.
This is the only change needed, and he seems to be on vacation now. I don't know when
Yeah, please collaborate with him, and you can. I think you have the access rights to push to his PR.
So I'll make change in his PR and push it, right? That's all.
Yeah, that will help.
Okay, that's all. And I need like a review on this prettier thing because it
No, I think
affects
this makes sense. We're changing the default behavior from applying the commands on
and
all of the files to just the staged ones. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, but there is like currently npm run formats some specific folders. I don't know how they are selected, like on what basis. So that might bring some problems.
Yeah, in these
So
commands, we might already provide the path to the files. That's why it's not overriding them directly. So it would
yeah,
format all of the files
yeah,
that are provided.
yeah. That's the only issue. So we can send it. That's all. any questions, I'll wait.
Do you have anything else to share?
That's all. Only these things.
Thank you. Okay. Christopher, would you like to share your update on the PR?
All right. I will go ahead and share my screen. So my issue is basically still regarding the fix for the hover over avatar. I was able to make a few changes to it, and the changes basically being I took out the I took out the timeouts, and then I just relied on 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 the on the events, or rather, yeah, the event actions that are probably tied to the development. So that is the on mouse leave, and particularly also just wrapped the popper inside. I wrapped the popper inside another div, and why I did that, that's because the on close attribute for the popper wasn't actually doing its job, and I actually don't think that popper has an attribute called on close. I tried looking through the documentation, and there wasn't anything like that. So anything like on close. So, and it wasn't actually being read anywhere at all. So yeah, that's what I did. I basically took out the timeout. So there isn't anything new as such, just adding in the div, and yeah, adding the on leave attribute for the avatar as well. And yeah, I
I think,
end up
yeah, without the timeouts, this PR looks solid. Did you like consider like whenever we are moving out of the avatar, like it's not closing very instantly while we are trying to move to the menu, because that would lead to bad UX. Like whenever someone clicks on the house or the avatar and he's trying to move to the menu, and it in that moment it closed that menu. So if you would like test that, otherwise this PR should be good.
Ideally that I tested for that to see if at all, let me say, if you hover over the avatar and then you're moving to the div, it does not, it does actually the job. So that's why ideally that's why I left the, let me show you. So ideally that's why I left the on hover on mouse over. So that ideally takes care of that situation that would close the popper in case you were to move from the avatar to the popper.
Yeah, and thanks for considering that. I tried to check the video, but it didn't load, so that's why. Thank you. I'll test PR and merge it.
All right.
Do you have anything else to share?
Uh, no, that's all.
Thank you. Okay, well, Shlomo, you shared your
So the first update is regarding the Logres instance of the Logres instance and replacing it with the Meshkit logger. So current before Meshery server used to have a different Logres instance, and I've replaced them with the Meshkit logger that we have, so that we can have a proper log and a proper and consistent log. Uh, One PR is regarding that. Any questions?
Is this completely removed, or is there still any few offenses left?
So the places where it's left is where we are defining the meshkit logger. So for its error, we are using the logres, and
And okay,
and
how
there,
many?
huh?
Yes, and where you like define new error codes or improve the existing error codes, or you just
Yeah,
took a shortcut?
no. I created few errors. Most of them were normal. Most of them were regarding the remote provider. So they were easy because they were just fetching and doing requests. So I just went ahead and added the data, and I created 15 to 16 nearby new errors. And along with that, we are also using a Logres in few instances, we are redefining those meshkit logger because I was not able to fetch them directly from the main handler because few functions were using some sort of different logic to use. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cause and remediations are missing for some. I'll update them. And
Yeah, anything?
yeah.
Yes. And any other updates regarding?
Yeah, and there are few places where I have not changed the logress debug because it was just debugging, and for it we'll need to. It was just single debug, and we need to reinitialize those logger because there was no particular way of getting the logger meshkit logger there. So I needed a second opinion. Shall I redefine a logger for that one particular instance, or we are good to use logress for debug?
No. Uh, Either pass the log instance directly or inject that dependency, or yeah, try a way to like use the same logger instance.
Okay, sure. I'll go ahead with that. And the next issue was regarding the Meshery component generator logs. So before we were generating a single log. Now the workflow generates two separate logs, one regarding the normal logs and the other one is an error log that only contains the particular models that have failed while registering. So yeah,
That's nice to hear.
that's the update from my side. The only part remaining is this will need to update the workflow because it's failing sometimes to pull before merging. So I'll go ahead and complete that today.
Unmute Abhi.
Abhi, you are speaking on mute.
Abhi, you are on mute.
Oh, sorry. I was asking Diane if you can share your updates.
Nice, very good. So we're up to Dayong, Miss Kang. It is well, it's late Dayung's time, and so she often tries to be polite to those that are resting around her. So she might not be inclined to jump on audio. I'm not sure. We should talk about her work though, and if there's a link to her PR, we should definitely give it a review and chat a bit with Chris Carrier and with Uzair about sort of the phase two, so to speak, of where we are with Artifact Hub. So
Yes.
That would you like to take over?
Yeah. So basically, what we are trying to achieve is, so in one of the meeting, I showed that we now have ability to, so starting on the Chris Kevin added the ability to have machine designs as a listed artifact hub, as the listed artifact on Artifact Hub repository or Artifact Hub site. So so what this means is you can have machine designs listed on their index, and basically any of the user in the world can take the design, import in Meshery, and use the design. So it is like a sharing repository, or it is just a hub for every kind of artifact. But the process to have your designs listed on Artifact Hub was manual. So we in Meshery server we have added the ability to allow users to automatically generate an Artifact Hub package that you can just copy and paste on a repository, and Artifact Hub will scan that repository and automatically add your designs and the additional metadata on their site. But we were lacking this functionality inside the Meshery.io workflow. So this is the repository where we store every catalog items that gets published. So we store the catalog in Markdown format as well as the original catalog item. So in this PR, she is ensuring that the Artifact Hub package that I just talked about gets generated automatically with the appropriate and correct metadata and everything. And every night when the workflow runs, new catalog items will automatically be published or getting listed on the artifact hub. So this is the crux of like what this PR means. And I reviewed this PR, and mostly like uh, only updates are required for like having using like better error handling and some specifics of like there are some questions to be answered, like using the existing functionality, using the existing structs and all. So as soon as that gets resolved, or as soon as like she fixes those issues, we are good to go and we can have that functionality. So Chris, do you have any like thoughts on? And as a related item, so if you see, we also have like versioning. So right now, every catalog item is like hard coded with version of like 1.0. So we are soon to have versioning of designs in Meshery server. So when you publish your item, you will be pinpointing your design to a particular version, and so that whatever updates you make later on your designs, they don't get automatically referred inside the catalog item, but it is like only intentional. So if you want to update the catalog item, you need to republish your design. So that is an enhancement that is forthcoming, and that would impact this workflow as well. So if you see the third point, that the version is hard coded, so we will get removed from this hard code.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else have anything to say about this?
If you don't mind, if you were to go to the issue that this PR fixes, and from that issue, well, I guess there's not. In the Zoom chat, there's a link to the parent issue that's kind of tracking phase 2, so to speak, for Artifact Hub integration. So for my part, and maybe for Mr. Carrier as well, Chris has been, focused on trying to get us to the end of this list. And actually, as it looked, okay, good. So it looks like the item that was just presented from Uzair and Dayang this might be the last item in the list. So just to refresh my memory and like to the extent that we were to do, Chris, I don't know if you're inclined to do like a part 2 of a blog post, but if so, that one might include the fact that like now Meshery's catalog is basically, well, I guess we would have gotten it all the way up to the point that Meshery is automatically generating Artifact Hub package descriptors, package.yamls, and those are being downloaded whenever you export a design, and that package.yaml gets included in the small OCI image when you downloaded exported design. Great. Dayang and Uzair are working to make sure that every time that the Meshery.io catalog is refreshed or that a new piece of content is published to that statically generated site, each of the Artifact Hub package files are also placed within that static site, and so that they're publicly referenceable, like so that Artifact Hub can go over and read the metadata. And so that's like that's like almost 180 potential new repos to be created inside of Artifact Hub. I'd be curious if someone were to visit artifacthub.io. Last I looked a year and something ago, I think there were a little over 10,000 Helm charts, but there are many other types of artifacts recognized as first-class citizens inside of Artifact Hub. And I'm wondering if 180 or almost 200 new Meshery designs, where that puts us as a project on the, if you were to click on any one of those, you would hopefully if you go back, I guess it's not that. If you were to,
you're looking for the link to the Meshery specific?
I think so. I think it would end up showing a count of each, like if you click on one of those icons.
I got the link directly to the search that goes to,
There you go.
yeah, we can select it here.
Pathetic, sad, very sad. Two Meshery designs, but Chris, I mean, actually, if you take it on the whole of things, if we end up with a couple hundred designs out there fairly soon, well, actually, we'd be, above the 50% mark in terms of like, it looked like there's a lot of other artifact. If you go up a little bit, whoever's driving, I'm going to choke you. Can you go back a page, please? Or yeah, there you go. Under kind.
That only needs to be official.
Yeah, if you uncheck official, I guess, like Chris is saying. Here we go.
Yeah, and go down. It's enough vertical. Right there. Under kind.
I know Abid is taking pleasure from this. I think he's just like intentionally, it's the delay. Anyway, yeah, Chris, please continue. Yeah.
I think definitely, I guess, figure out why, or get those to land so that the larger footprint, that'll definitely warrant more outreach blog posts. There's also this other ticket with some items around, that's dropped in chat. A couple of things identified there, like update to an architecture document and some other things. Not sure if this is all still. Some of these are maybe are done now.
I don't. Yeah. Thank you for bringing this up. For my part, I don't think I know that I didn't do this, and so that this, like if you take a step back from just this particular integration, and if we were to articulate or convey the idea that Meshery designs are exportable in a few different formats, that might be a good way of expressing this. Like I don't know that there needs to be a dedicated slide that talks about, just that. Like it's not that big of a architectural thing, but if there's a slide, or if we double check in Meshery docs, there should be at least one doc that talks about exporting designs, but no doubt it doesn't really cover this. There's an aspect of, even after Dayoung's PR lands and all of those Artifact Hub package files are being published automatically, there's still a linkage, I think, that I don't remember if you have to manually, no, that's right. All of those should automatically show up in Artifact Hub. Yep.
As long as it's configured to point to that location, yeah, it should pick it up.
Okay. Did I just click this accidentally, or did somebody else? But anyway, we get into more of Chris's show, I think, with the Chris. If you go back and consider, like, oh, hey, where else might we need to consider for specifying what output, whether or not you wanted that package.yaml. Do we tell people, do we tell them how to do that in the first blog post? Does it really take people through how to set up your repo? Or like, we don't have to repeat Artifact Hub's instructions, but yeah, I don't know. If we were to make it to a phase 3, it would be potentially with snapshots, like potentially with like you can have, and now I'm going to tell you things that but like in Artifact Hub, if we were to It's a little bit extensible. You can add some metadata about your, you can add some of your own metadata. And part of that metadata is like if you have any screenshots of the thing. And boy, do we ever have screenshots, right? Like we're taking snapshots of these things all the time. And it's not just, so that would be wonderful to like get our own designs to have a snapshot. Great, we're in control of them. We can update them, all that stuff. If we were successful there, my fantasy has been, and I love it when my fantasies come true. Don't you guys? I'll tell you about some of my fantasies another time. No, is if we were to get snapshots for like all the Helm charts, that would be, Meshery would be everywhere. We would be seeing green all over the place. So I'm just fantasizing right now. Just come join me in my dreamland.
So you're talking about adding that to the existing integration with the Helm charts that Meshery is publishing to Artifact Hub?
Well, as a first step, like of the almost 200 content items inside the Meshery catalog, that as soon as Dayung's PR lands, good. Hopefully all those 200 start to show up. So we go from 2 to 200. Great. But as like a phase 3 of what, I'll just repeat what you just said, which is that, yeah, hey, for those 200, we're snapshotting each of those designs. We could also have that when that snapshot runs, we can have it update the package.yaml, and consequently, hopefully in Artifact Hub, there would be an image, you know, for those two. So 200 image, but there's a part B, but there's a phase 3 part B, which is, okay. So those are things that we own and have purview over and all that. But wait a second, Meshery there's 10,000 Helm charts. Meshery you can import a Helm chart into Meshery. When it renders it visually, you can snapshot that thing. Oh, and so one of my initial about my only discussion with the Helm maintainers, it was just 2 of them. It was Matt Farina and the other guy. Actually, I have to probably introduce you, Chris. I was alluding to this phase 3 part B, and I think I was skipping over 50, 10 steps. I was sort of assuming we would do all these steps and then get to there. And I actually really kind of think it might happen as we go to reach. So part of what the Helm guys need, I'm sorry, the Artifact Hub guys need is convincing and proof that having a screenshot of their Helm chart is valuable to their users. And so as we start to reach out to other projects and ask them if the relationships that we have in Meshery are approved by them and are representative appropriately, as we start to engage more frequently and deeply with these other maintainers. So Dapper is one example. These guys are pretty excited about what we have. I think they want to use it to help explain sidecars and Dapper and all this to their users. That presents a sweet opportunity for us to also have them as our advocates for snapshots on their Helm charts in Artifact Hub, and then talking to the Artifact Hub maintainers to say, hey, maybe wouldn't you like to offer this to everybody? Wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't it make a Artifact Hub a better place if everyone got automatic visuals for? And so, yeah, the evil scheme there is maybe people would see Meshery snapshots in a lot of places. Like that's kind of, and maybe it would be very helpful to people, but the evil part is maybe people would see Meshery in a lot of places. So
sure,
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee and Chris. I think we are on time, around 10 minutes late. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's wrap the call.
Nice. Oh, perfect.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.